on our evening, friend.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back. 888-550-9105. We are, it is the Education of 444 featuring Jay-Z's latest album, 444. That was Family Feud, which is, it's one of my favorites. Somebody said that was their favorite track.
That's my favorite song.
Me too. Top five.
Was that
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I did. He probably did.
Troy?
Yeah.
Oh no, Adrian. So let me introduce everybody. Now that everybody's in the building, I'm going to start up here with my darling, who is not even a closet JC scholar, but thanks to Adrian Carter, told me that our poet and one of the dopest sisters in South Florida is May Rain in the building.
What's going on out there? How y'all doing?
How are you, Sunshine?
I'm happy to be here.
Yes, I'm so glad to have you. So I didn't know you were like that chick.
Love them. Been loving them for a long time. Been on it for a long time and understood the message. I've had this conversation a lot with a lot of people about how Jay-Z is changing the game, has a big influence on pop culture, and not only does he recognize his influence, and I get into a big argument, understanding that Tupac was a lot younger than Jay-Z, you know,
Right.
so he didn't have that time to really come into his own, but at the same time, there seemed to be a difference in understanding the responsibility that came with that influence. Not only is the world listening to me, but I have something to say that needs to be said to my people. Not just for me to win in this rap game and be the best rapper alive, but to do something different and to teach these guys, a different approach. If your only way is, if you feel like crime is your only way out, I mean, we got to remember that the motive, the objective is to get out. Right. And not to stay in. So I've always appreciated that about him.
But yeah, I was someone who, is evolved, let's just say, right? Okay. And who challenged me that how can now Jay-Z, who was a drug dealer, be somebody to look up to? And I was like, well, because we all change and we all grow. And, if we don't, should he just wear that scarlet letter the rest of his life? Or he should never, be able to. But his thesis is that we're just all, now we all just want to be billionaires. And now we're just all money driven as opposed to being driven by what's righteous. And I was like, this will be an interesting question for my panel. Can we be both? Can we be prosperous? Can we, live a life of opulence and still be doing right by our art and our people?
But of course.
Definitely.
Of course.
Devin.
Yeah.
Chocolate Thunder, I'm sorry.
But yes, absolutely you can. I think what happens is people let the money change them. They allow the money to change them, what the money was supposed to do, and it becomes about having that money and that check, and not about who they are. Because at the end of the day, the value of what you put into your art is what got you that check. Don't change because you get extra zeros.
Well, that's not the case in all cases. Money Mark, I will, now in your case, it was, you all, Trey Plus 6 was a little different. And I think you were just a little early.
Yeah, a little early.
For your, I don't think that people were quite ready to accept you in that space, right. Having a brain and being, street at the same time. But to his point, on one hand you have people where the money does change them, but then on the other hand you have people who try to stay center and everybody else around them changes.
I think what we have to learn is just money itself, like the perception of money. Like I think money, like a paper bill, causes people to change, but I think that's because of lack of knowledge. Like money to me means, and he deals with that on the album as well, but like, property, investments, things like that we could pass along. Like $1, I could rip that up, that's nothing. So, and it was a struggle, like May mentioned, it's all about the way out. So we use that as our what do you call it, like our leverage or whatever, to say I have this amount of money, but we also want to get things that can show off in our community, to say I'm getting it. And how hard is it to like buy something that no one else can see, and that's the struggle. Like I can take 10,000 and go buy a piece of land, but everybody ain't gonna praise me for what I got, what I do, what I have.
Right.
So we're not too interested in that. That 10,000 got to get rims, it got to get this, and that's where the change come, because we think we have to, because we're not learning our finances and where we need to be correctly. And that's my opinion on that. I think they can coexist, I guess is the answer, with the proper knowledge and understanding of what we're doing with the finances.
Yeah, because I think that Jay-Z and Beyonce are an example of that.
Yes, definitely.
You know, where activism and opulence. Oh, we have to use that. That's a T-shirt. Where they are coexisting, and they are, and I don't think they're compromising who they are in that space. Pastor Troy, the Hope Dealer, is in the building.
Okay.
Welcome.
Hey everybody.
Welcome back.
I don't know, Jill. I think money and the pursuit after the struggle can exist together. The love of money is the root of all evil, not money itself.
Amen.
Right?
Amen.
And so that reality says that you need a vehicle, and I think that's what Mark was getting at. You need a vehicle to get places, and often I think what we hear when we listen to Jay-Z is he talks about how he's trying to use his wealth as a vehial. That's why I was torn between which song was my favorite, because I like Legacy, because he starts to talk about a will and talks about how we can all go and be and do. And so I think what's different with Jay-Z, though, is that he was 26, 27 when he dropped his first album. And when you're 26 or 27, you know who you are, versus when you're 19 and you make it big and you get all this money. So there's a piece of me that doesn't really get that. I don't feel that money changes people. I think if you don't know who you are, you're still trying to figure that out. And then you get, with all of this access to stuff you've never had before, it's just like anybody going to college and your parents kept you under the leash for years and years and didn't let you go out and experience and fall. And then when you get to college, them the folk that lose their mind, right?
Right.
And so it's just like a puppy dog, right? So if you have a dog and you keep the dog in the cage all the time, when you go to walk the dog, do simple things, the dog act like don't even sit still, right? And get to running and you can't keep the dog. It's like it's a simple walk. I'm just taking you to the bathroom. But if I've been locked up for so long and I don't know what it feels like to be outside and to be free, this is like the best thing since sliced bread for me. So there's, I think we gotta understand what the deal is, and I don't know. We've talked about.
But see, and that's it. That just exasperation when we get, because you can almost feel it, and I've had that conversation with literally everybody in this room, where your mind is churning and you understand, like, you are in focus, so you kind of feel the energy of, like, I know that if I do this and if I do this and if I partner with them, and I know what is possible. But then you think about what's around you and just how apathetic everybody outside your tribe is, and you get that
Exactly.
Like, how are we going to
get? You could feel it.
Right? It's because it's like, okay, but really, this sounds great, but how are we gonna get there? It's just not enough. Did somebody want to weigh in on that, May?
I have to say this. I think that among our people, there's a negative connotation that comes with the word change. Okay, I think that other cultures understand the importance of exposure and the fact that money, or the understanding of financial dealings and how to maneuver with that money allows you a lot of exposure. And that exposure is what causes you to elevate. And so sometimes we have to be careful that we don't miss the mark, that changing and evolving is the objective. Right. That is what you want to do. You want to evolve. You want to have more exposure for your children, your family. That's the only way you're going to grow. And if I come up on $1 million, I'm not going to the same park to play basketball, because I know that I can't roll up in what I'm going to be driving, to do the same thing.
Who was that football player that said that he bought a Maybach before he bought a house?
Oh, woke up in a...
Who was it?
I'm not sure.
I don't listen to them. I listen to them.
We were just talking about that last week on the show.
It's been all over.
I don't think it comes on Hot 105.
I think on Jay-Z's album is actually like how it starts. It's dealing with how we talking, because I think he's saying Jay-Z can't even exist to where he's trying to go as a person. And me personally, on 444, that's my favorite, because I've been married through all of this for a while.
Right.
Nicole in the building, shout out. We've been together for a minute, and just keeping it. We talked about everything, but just starting in the game, being young, being privy to things I've never seen before, to thinking that's the world. Money Mark was the man popping, but Mark Seymour was struggling. But as you know, we talked about age too, and the age shifts. Now it's time for Mark Seymour to be the man. Money Mark can't really exist. You know what I mean? I want to take my kids out. I want to hang out. I want to pay for my daughter. Want to go to Florida State. You know, I can't get the chunks and the goals I can, but why would I?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point? And I think that's the change we got
And I
to
think,
keep in mind.
and the album starts off.
Adrian
It's about
Carter.
the Gators.
How y'all doing?
Right.
Go Gators.
She ain't like
The
it.
album starts off with Kill Jay-Z.
Kill Jay-Z,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it
That's-
it brings you through the evolution. So what you're looking at is, and we do this, especially for black folks, we do this in a spiritual space, right? Apostle Paul was allowed to go from being a killer to being who he was as an apostle, right?
Right.
Other people in the Bible have always been allowed to go from being the negative person to the change that we see them come to, right? So as May said, it's always about that. And when you look at the way Jay-Z outlines the album, just from jump one, he's telling you, I first have to kill the old me, right, in order to be birthed into the new me.
She said change, and you said it again, it's about evolving.
Yeah.
And I think that's not something that we're exposed to. And you also said another thing about, they represent us. So you need representation. There are black billionaires, there are black millionaires. It's just nobody that looks like us that is relatable. So when Jay-Z says it, it is an aha moment.
Right.
But it's not nothing that you never heard before. It's just that, oh, he looks like me and he came up like me, so maybe I can aspire to have this.
Right.
But it's not unattainable. It's just that we're not exposed to it and we don't know any better. But now that you have a Jay-Z, it's like, okay.
Right, and Jay-Z made it okay for a lot of other brothers, and we'll play some more of those footnotes throughout the show. But like Money said, they're only if you have title, people.
Yeah, I'm switching.
Hello.
Yeah.
Listen, so everybody that just clowns when I got title, you gonna pay that much for title?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna pay that much for title. I don't care. They had already been through that with Lemonade. People jumped on, got Lemonade, and then did not pay their next month bill. So he was like, "Oh, we got you this time. So if you have not been on for 6 months, you can't get it. How about that? You just sit there and wait for
The deep
it."
thing with him, and even for the musicians in the room, and that's the beauty of owning your music and kind of like not signing the guy, is like licensing this album to Sprint for a month, pull it back, licensing, whatever, you know the word, to Apple for a month, pulling it back, and it's just, that's what it's genius. Like this.
Well, you know what? Explain that, because a lot of people don't understand why. Because people are like, "Why didn't Puffy?" Yeah, I got to get DJ Sko when we come back on the other side. Shouts out to Sko in the building.
DJ Sko.
They didn't real. A lot of people were like, "Why was Puffy? Why did he take Won't Stop, Don't Stop, Won't Stop to Apple as opposed to Tidal?" And
That's all in the knowledge. I believe I heard you say earlier about a lot of young kids want to rap. And, you know, that's my angle. Like, I try to post on Facebook as much as I can because I get a lot of inbox questions on, my son want to rap, my son want to do this.
right,
And the thing is the money. Like, we all want the money. So I've seen people with great records and they just like, I just want the money. So I've seen people give them like $1,000 and they happy. And it's like, that's it. And then the song is in the club, everybody's popping the bottles, blah, 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 and it's gone. So in the Puffy situation, he's a big dog, but he may not know the weight of not giving it to Apple so easy for a check. Like me, I'm trying to do my independent thing. It's long nights, it's rough. I may not eat. My wife will tell you I'm traveling every day. And I watch my peers who may not be doing independent, they moving around and it look, you know, some days you want to give us, say, oh, I want to go sign and get some money quick. But
you taking chances. Just like he said,
Right.
y'all
That's
still
your
getting
work,
advances.
Yeah,
Me and my taking chances.
I got to take these chances.
The anti-socialites are in the building, along with Adrian Carter is here. Money Mark Ziegler is in the building as well. And shouts out to my dear friend Joe Wesley and his brother. Tell me your name again. Hess.
Yeah.
A pleasure to meet you.
Me too.
Ladies, it's 2 of them. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Are you single too?
Yeah.
888.
his voice too. He's like,
Yeah.
9105. So that was the track that I think has gotten the most conversation. Right before I played some of the footnotes from 444, and that was Michael B. Jordan, I think, and Mahershala Ali talking about, the difference of being a black man at that stature of life. And that's one of the things that I find really refreshing about this project, is that it has really opened up people that we don't really get to hear from. A lot of times we think once they get in that Tiger Woods rarefied air that they all kind of, fall into that trap. But listening to these brothers, it's like, no. I've got a great one from Trevor Noah that I've been playing a little bit. Tell me your thoughts about, because there's a lot of controversy about the story of OJ. That song in particular. So I'd love for everybody to share their thoughts on that song in particular.
I love the song. I love what he did with it. I'm always conflicted between, the idea of whether we are torturing OJ or continuing to have him on trial, even as a people, from a perspective of self-hate, because other cultures just don't do that, and I hate to come from that standpoint, but if you were found not guilty, you're supposed to be not guilty.
Right.
But even his own culture kind of side eyes him like, come on now, you did it.
Right.
So I'm always conflicted with that. I still love that play on the idea of being separated from the culture, because I do believe that whether right or wrong, there is a sense of separation from the culture when it comes to certain things. And I think that him, Tiger Woods, a lot of our athletes, celebrities as a whole do play into that idealism of separation, and that I am not one of you and I will not be treated as one of you, if I'm faced in those particular situations.
You know what? Let me play this for them right now, because it just really is profound and behind what you were saying. Take a listen to this.
Okay.
OJ. Okay.
I'll say this, fame is the greatest gift God can give a black man.
Success is still in many ways a synonym for white. And so once you attach successful to the black man, there's a little key that has been given to you that may give you access to the white world. The key can be taken away, Cosby, Tiger, etc.
Wow.
Yeah, thoughts.
Wow. Yeah, it's I did this
Money Mark.
I'm sorry if someone.
No. I just say your name because
Okay,
it's a
okay.
lot
Oh,
of you
sorry.
people tell me, well, who's talking?
Well, who that was? I'm able to do like like LED productions and things like that, and I was able to do a small. I guess it was I don't know what it was called, but it was Virgin Airlines and Chase Bank, and they were doing like a display for their new rocket that flies to space and come back down.
Right.
So there was none of us in the room, except one guy who was a server and me. And everyone was like, well, the stage, with Charlie Rose, he was there. And everybody's like, the stage is awesome. It's great. It's beautiful. Who did that? And, they pointed this guy right here. And, some of the others, they just looked like, okay. And then just turned away like, really? Like, how did he even get in here? And I'm bringing that up to say, like, with the stories, what he's mentioning, we got to remember that the Jay-Z, the Beyonce, even the guy who did that movie about the guy killing the slaves and all of that, they have to walk Nate Parker, I'm sorry. Walk into these rooms alone, you know what I mean? And they're going on a limb for us, for their culture, for their people, for everybody. And these rooms are like 0% black. So I could imagine when Jay-Z walks into these rooms now, and it's like people like, yo, you giving up the secrets, and they want to take his key back so bad, but they can't. And I'm saying that to the point of like, if we can get to those points where nobody can take our key back, we don't have to attach success with white and none of that foolishness. It's just what it is. You know what I mean? And I think we got to also pray for them too as people who willing to put themselves on the line for their people. And we got to understand stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that LeBron did a great. If you get a chance, check it out on YouTube. His how everybody did their responses to 444, and I thought that LeBron's was just really profound because he really kind of just went there. He was like, "Yep, still." Because everybody remembers that the playoffs. He's getting ready for the playoffs, and somebody's spraying on his house in Bel Air, and it just.
Still,
it don't matter, Like Paul Mooney said, you will still. I wanted to play that Paul Mooney, but you would have heard every 3 words because you can't. It's too much to bleep out. But everybody gets their wake up call.
Right.
Honestly,
Let's go.
Fell in love with it from the first time I heard it, but then the video gave me a complete different visual. Just knowing that when you watch the video, this is how they depicted us at one point in time.
Still.
That's how they look at us still.
When I say at one point in time, because Disney made cartoons that had us. We would consider the heathens that were coming out of we would had the pot, this big pot cooking back in Africa with the bone through our nose with these huge lips and these huge, nostrils, and we could barely speak English.
Right.
And that's how they depicted us, and now you have